Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel of evolution. My name is Shuby, and today we are going to dive into the depths and talk about why it is important to know thyself. That's right, we're going to talk about the circle. Not only that, but the circle with the cross in it, which represents the four directions. We need to understand that all four of these elements reside in all of us. And to be complete and to know where we're going and to live the greatest possible potential, we need to understand ourselves on this deep of a level. Otherwise, we're only living a small part. You know, if we stay within one direction of our life or one aspect, we're stuck into being limited into that one aspect. Yet, there's all this other potential around us. Why would we want to stay small if we could move into this entire environment? To see things as beautiful as they are is to understand them full circle, right? So we need to go into the hell and into the chaos so we can understand the joy and appreciate the things that we have in life. That's how balance works. You know, it's like I never really understood this for the longest time in my life, and I was actually living in chaos because, well, I didn't understand the complexity of the entirety of this beautiful thing that we live in, right? I had this like limited view of my Virgo sun sign, let's say. You know, I was like stuck in this belief that my entire life was all of these qualities that are attributed to that, like detail-oriented work, observe, analyze, more introverted. And I'm like, wow, this makes a lot of sense. I can see that. So I stayed there, right? And I was always in confusion because I didn't realize that, well, I was like a Sagittarius all over my chart too, my moon and rising sign. So it's like, well, this is all about it being like expansive and huge and the entire picture. Whereas my Virgo nature was like details, details, details. I can't see the entire thing because I'm focused on the minute. So I was constantly bouncing back and forth between these two extremes, and my life was chaos. And my entire life lesson was to learn how to balance this chaos, right? And it gets even deeper because I have these like tattoos, like one with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde on my back, which was like symbolic for the end of getting out of alcohol addiction and feeling that chaos. But it got even deeper as I realized that it was my life purpose was to learn how to balance two extremes. You know, and the tattoos on my feet are the exact same thing. They're the foo dogs, you know, the representation of the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine. You know, this is polar extremes, and energy flies between the two. And harmony, power, potential, love, expansion comes from knowing both extremes and bringing them to center. And this is what happens when you know yourself on the deepest possible level. You know, it is to realize that you are a hero and that you are doing all of these great things that are just, but at the same time to realize you were a piece of shit and you've made a lot of mistakes and you have potential to do a lot of damage. You know, you do the shadow work, right? You get into your depths and you learn from them. You need to let go of the attachment though, at least long enough to be unbiased about the lesson, right? Because if you have a bias, then you'll never actually learn the truth. You know, you'll manipulate it to try to make it work on your behalf, which isn't very effective, you know, because that just pushes you further into your chaos by keeping you ignorant. You know, this is like a bribe, essentially, that the ego is giving you a bribe to keep you stupid, to feed itself, to keep itself feeling good, to avoid the pain and avoid the suffering and avoid the truth, because that doesn't give a shit about truth. It only cares about staying on top, keeping its power, belief, false bullshit, right? But once you come to terms with the full circle, you get to go into the depths and you can look at it, right? All of these demons are going to come up. All of these monsters are going to come to face you. And you're just going to look. You're not going to react and start killing them just because of your fear. You're going to observe first and foremost to see what it can teach you about truth, about yourself. Like, why do I feel this anger? Why do I feel this hatred? Why do I feel defeat, neglect? You know, all of these negative emotions, why do I feel them? First off, foremost, as soon as you learn and you look into the depth of that, you can realize something about yourself. And the reason you want to do this, even though it's going to hurt and you might suffer and it might be tough, is because once you realize it, well, now you can strengthen it. Now you can build the endurance. Now you start to build your foundation in the structure of your entire house, if you will, yourself, your body. Once you get that framework down, now you can get artistic. You can blend all of these aspects, like that circle with the 4 directions, right? You know, if you say the 4 directions are like the symbols of life itself that come with the astrology, you know, the earth, air, fire, and water, realize that a house contains all of those elements. So you can't just take the first element that you are, that you enjoy, because you're going to be missing out on the rest of the structure, right? It's like if you're earth, right, then you build a solid foundation. But then you never leave the ground and you're stuck. So now you start to take in the aspects of the air and you just jump off the cliff and you learn to fly and hope for the best, right? And you might smash the ground, but you take and you build off of the foundation and you build towards the heavens, right? So now you got a story, maybe 2 stories, maybe even 3 stories. You build a skyscraper, but either way, you're leaving the ground and going into the air. Now, you realize that water, which is kind of chaotic because it's fluid, right? It's not stable. It's all over the place. It just flows. It's up, it's down, it's left, it's right. You can drown in it. But still, you bring plumbing into your house anyways, because that's another part of your nature. It's like you are constantly flowing. And if you understand it, well, then you can realize where you're at and why it's important. You know, it's not just a high, it's not just a low, it's life-sustaining, right? You drink it. You can't even live 3 days without water, so you bring it into your house, and now you have water flowing through your pipes. And it's at your tap. It gets cold at night, so you bring in fire, right? Now you harness fire, and you bring that, and you build this giant fireplace, stone, and it's beautiful. And now you have heat, right? And a source of light. And all of these things come together full circle to build a beautiful, strong house. And when you know yourself, you're bringing all of these things together in perfect harmony, in perfect balance, in between 2 extremes to bring your vision to life. To bringing the perfect house to your life. You can't do that with such a limited view. You can't do that without bringing everything together. So you have to do the shadow work and go into hell. You know, you can't just seek pleasure and seek happiness, because if that's all you're going after, well, then it's a drug, right? Because if that's all you think life should be about, is you're going to find some source of happiness outside of yourself, And you're going to constantly dose yourself with that. Keep yourself ignorant and keep yourself, you may be happy. You never know, it might work. But sooner or later, you're going to have run-ins with your soul. You're going to have conflict. And you're going to have to face the fact that you're in this chaos state way over here because you're drugging yourself. And it's not full circle, right? This is your attempt to stay in one place. But if you go into hell, and you go into chaos, you dive into your darkness, and you suffer a bit, well then, you gain strength. You gain endurance. And most importantly, you learn all of these aspects within yourself. This bad shit is a part of you too. Now you can utilize that information and work on it. And you can build yourself just like your house. You strengthen your muscles and you strengthen your resolve and you build resilience. So nothing, no earthquake will come in and destroy your house. Yes, earthquakes may be major catastrophes, catastrophic problems that attempt to tear down everything you built. And guess what? If you didn't build that structure completely and perfectly within nature, then it is going to come falling down. And when it falls down, now you are at rock bottom and you have to start all over again. And if you've never built that strength and resolve within yourself, you may end your life right there. You may not want to start all over again. And this is where it becomes difficult. And this is why you need to work on building yourself full circle. I love you guys. Take care. Start building. Peace.